He's Matt Ryan, the former legend at Boston College, now the Falcons quarterback. He joins us on the show. What were the other schools that you could have gone to?
You know what? When it came down to it, I was between Iowa and Boston College, but I had some offers from the Big Ten, Big East, and ACC. But those were my two final schools.
Not the SEC.
Not the SEC. I don't think they recruit a bunch up north.
But what is it that tips the scales when you're looking at a school and you narrow it down to two or three that you go, okay, that's where I'm going to go?
You know what? For me, it was the coaching staffs, feeling comfortable with the coaching staffs at both schools. And then ultimately the decision for me was it was a little bit closer to home and a little bit easier for my family to make it to the games and to be able to see them.
You watch college football now?
Tons. This weekend, I got to watch a bunch of the games, which is nice. We weren't traveling. We had the weekend off, so I love watching it.
If you look at these quarterbacks in college now, the transition to the pros, it seems like it's a lot more seamless than it's ever been. I mean, why is that?
I think the amount of time, college athletes are spending on campus and working out and, preparing with the coaches is probably, as much as NFL guys are doing now. And, I think they're much better prepared coming into the NFL because of that time that they spent for the 4 or 5 years that they were in school.
If you're looking at what is considered a good year for a quarterback, how many passing yards is good, and what would you consider great?
In college or in the NFL?
In the NFL.
In the NFL. Well, I think that number has gone up in the past couple of years, that's for sure. But, it's tough to say. A great year, I think, is what Drew Brees had last year. I don't know the total number, but it was well over 5,000 yards and just had really an unbelievable year. But, some of the guys have set new benchmarks for what that number is going to be.
Do you think we'll see a 6,000-yard passer during your career?
Yeah, you know what? I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities. Drew was pretty close last year, so I think there's definitely a possibility of that.
He averaged 342 per game last year. He needs to average 375 to get to 6,000 yards. You think that's possible?
I think anything's possible. I saw some kid from in college threw for like 750 yards this weekend in one game. So I think 375 might be manageable.
What was the most you threw in high school, college, or the pros?
I don't know offhand, but somewhere in the fours in college, somewhere around there. I'm not really sure what the exact number is, but that's probably the most.
How much of that loss to the Giants still resonate with you in the playoffs?
You know what? It stung during the off season. I think once we were able to get into OTAs and into training camp and kind of get back to work, it passes. But it certainly was good motivation, I think, for working out and training and getting the guys in there during the off season.
I still keep wondering, everybody's building up on offense. You guys went all in when you traded up for Julio Jones, and I kept saying, I know he's a fabulous talent, but you don't have a signature defensive guy, and I think that's important. Giants are winning because of defense. I don't know. I just think everybody's playing offense now, and we're not as concerned about defense because the rules favor the offense. What do you think about that?
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment of the NFL in general. I think a lot of teams do put a lot of stake into scoring points and trying to outscore teams. So I think it's a fair assessment.
I make my Super Bowl pick tomorrow. You want to?
Good thing I talked to you today.
Well, if I gave you 30 seconds to convince me, Falcons in the NFC, go.
I think we've got a talented offense for sure. A lot of guys that can make plays, but I think we're much improved on defense. Mike Nolan coming in as defensive coordinator, I think, is going to help our scheme. Asante Samuel solidifies our back end. I think we've got one of the best secondaries in the league. And, we've got a scheme that I think can create, pressure on the passer. So I think it's a really good combination of talent across the board.
Is the quarterback elite?
I'm sorry?
Is the quarterback elite on the Falcons?
I certainly think so, but it's not for me to decide. I think it doesn't matter what I say or what anybody says. It's all about how I play, and I feel comfortable and confident going into this season, and feel good about our chances.
What's the but I do this in my business. Like if you said, how do you measure yourself against Bob Costas or whoever you might throw out there? I'd like to think I'm as good. If I said, you and Brady and Breeze, Peyton Manning, do you belong in that conversation?
You know what? I think the way quarterbacks are measured, the three guys you mentioned are all Super Bowl winners, and I'm not that yet. But, I need to get there. I think I'm certainly capable of doing it and being every bit as good. But I haven't done it yet, and I need to do that first.
Most important stat for a quarterback is what?
Wins.
But why isn't that factored into the quarterback rating, Matt? I don't understand this. That stupid quarterback rating.
I didn't make up the quarterback rating. I didn't come up with that formula. If I would have, it would have been a part of it.
Do you understand the quarterback rating?
No. Do you?
No, I hate it because we'll go, look at his quarterback rating. All I know is I go back to Montana and Elway and Johnny Unitas and those guys. They weren't concerned about some damn quarterback rating. All they wanted to do was win the last game that they played in.
That's the key. And I think when you talk to quarterbacks around the league, I think that's the way they're driven. I don't think quarterback rating or those kind of numbers are what they aspire for. I think it's winning a championship, and that's certainly what I'm in it for.
Good luck against the Chiefs. Good to visit with you again, Matt.
All right, thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me on.
Matt Ryan, Falcons quarterback. He doesn't understand the quarterback rating.